So, time to explain the honor system, right? Everyone has their pen and paper. Because I want you to take notes so you see how things unfold, right? And then what I will do, because many people ask me to explain the honor system, I will go the simple, the concept. Then I will start adding, right? And then we're gonna go into the details. So we're gonna take it from bottom up and then just keep adding so it won't overwhelm you too much. It will be, regardless, it will be too much. So, time to explain the honor system because we got this request before I joined Muscle Bra for a chat. So let's get going. So basically, as you may have heard from the interview, let me mute the music so we can have it as a highlight, so you can revisit and listen to it again without having a chance of Twitch muting the stream. All right. So basically, the honor system, it's a competition within your own server, your own faction, right? So you compete within your own faction only. The system is not affected. The system itself is not affected by outside variables of your own faction. That's a very important thing to note. Your own server, your own faction. That's all that matters. Nothing else matters. If you are Horde, the performance you have within Horde per week is what matters. Same with Alliance. If you're Alliance, your performance that week matters within Alliance per week. So it is a weekly competition, or a competition that is calculated weekly, right? And it gives you a standing from 1 to, depending on how many people are active in PvP. Okay? So the person at the end of that week with the highest honor, not HKs, honor, will get standing 1, right? The highest honor per week will get standing 1. Then the person with the second highest honor will get second, third, fourth, 100, 151, 100, 200, 3,000, depending on the population of the server, right? So your standing is the honor you did within that week, at the end of the week, and the standing you get based on how much honor you got, right? Now, based on that, you get different standings. Those standings, you see them after the server restart. You can check your honor tab and you can see, oh, I got this much honor total, which you know before you log out, and then you get a standing. Last week you did 1 million honor, standing 1, or you did 500,000 honor, standing 200. I'm just giving random numbers just to show you what I mean. You did 300,000 honor, standing 300, right? But how does that standing matter? How does it matter? Let me also put the Windows mode, so if there are any questions, so people will be able to answer them. How does it matter? How does the standing matter? It matters because based on your standing, okay, note this down. This is very important. This is where the formula starts kicking in. Based on your standing, you will be given, or you will be put within a certain bracket, and based on that bracket, you will get ranking points. You see? So we have standing, puts you in a certain bracket, gives you a certain ranking points. Based on those ranking points, you rank. How much is your progression or even regression, right? So now the problem becomes that standing is a given variable. You get it. It's a solid number. But then the question becomes, which rank which bracket are you in with that standing? The only answer that is, there is no answer to it. There's only an explanation here. Because based on your own faction's PvP activity, the brackets adapt. Because it's percentage wise. And let me show you the table here, because I think that will be very, very important for you guys to see the table and see the numbers. Right? Here we are. So, I know it's called bracket 14, but people between them, they reverse the numbers. So the highest bracket instead of 14, we call it 1, 13 we call it 2, 12 we call it 3. So in terms of groups, or as they're called here, we call them brackets. And we say bracket 1, 2, 3, 4. We have it reversed. Because bracket 1 sounds better, right? Bracket 1 is the highest. Whereas bracket 14 sounds like the lowest, at least in my mind's eye. Now, as you can see here, these values, right? It's based on the performance of people, right? So here you have a 0.2. So every 1,000 people, so every 100 people, you obviously don't get anything. But every 1,000 people, you get 2 spots in bracket 1. You see this? Just to explain to you how it works. So in the example of, if we have 1,000 people active, if you're Horde and you have 1,000 people PvP active on Horde side, then 2 bracket 1 slots will be available. 2,000 active PvPers on Horde side, 4 bracket 1 slots available. You with me? And please do interrupt me if you have any questions. That's very important. Now, same with bracket 2. If we have 1,000 active PvPers, that means bracket 2 will have 5, bracket 3 will have 10 people. How does that translate into standing? So in the case of 1,000 active PvPers, that will mean standing 1 and 2 will be bracket 1. Standing 3 will be, make it a bit more interactive here, standing 3 will be up to which standing? Standing 3 will be bracket 2, up to standing. If you have 5 bracket 2 slots. No. If you have 5 bracket 2 slots, that means standing 1 and 2 are bracket 1. And between standing 3, per faction, per server. Lol. Yes. So, 1,000 active PvPers means 2 slots bracket 1 and 5 bracket 2. So it will be standing 1 and 2 bracket 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 will be bracket 2. You don't know this, right? You don't know this. As in, when you get your standing, you don't know in which bracket you are unless you do the math. Right. I'm not sure what you're referring there, Vortalex. We're talking about bracket 1 and 2 now to help people understand. And in the case of 1,000 people active, you have standing 1 and 2 bracket 1, and standing 3 and 7, 3 up to 7, bracket 2. In this example with the 1,000 active, that means the next 10 slots will be bracket 3. So that will be between standing 8 and standing 17. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Right? So those are the brackets. So that's how you know in which bracket you are. Sounds a bit complicated. If you have any questions, do ask. Those are your brackets, right? And to put an asterisk, PvP activity means within each week is independent from the next week, and your standing is regardless of your rank. No other variables are included here. Your standing. So on that week, how many horde people did more than 15 honorable kills? Doesn't matter how much honor, 15 honorable kills. So for each person who has 15 honorable kills, he's added to the PvP pool of your faction. Right? That's what it means to be PvP active. So that means the people who, in our example, are 1,000. That means those 1,000 people did it 15 HKs minimum or higher. If you are under that, you're not considered PvP active. So you're not added to the pool. To the pool, it doesn't mean you're going to get honor. You can progress with ranks, but we're trying to focus on the pools. Now, the pools define the size of the brackets because they're percentage-wise. As you can see, if you have 10,000 population, active PvP population in your faction, let's say in the extreme example, you're going to have 20 bracket 1 slots. You see how it scales. You see how the system works. Now, how does it matter which bracket you are? Each bracket awards RP, ranking points. Each bracket has a range of ranking points. So bracket 1 slot, this 14, has a range of, every bracket has or most brackets have a range of 1,000 RP. So the maximum you can get of the bracket 1 slot is 13,000 RP. The maximum you can get, 13,000. But you can also get a minimum, we're going to explain how that works, of 12,000. So you can get, when you're bracket 1 slot, you can get anything between 13,000 and 12,000. When you're bracket 2 slot, you can get anything between 12,000 and 11,000. And when I say anything, depending on many things that I'm going to explain soon. Right? And if you are in the case of bracket 3 slot, you get a minimum of 10,000 RP. And a minimum of 10,000 RP and a maximum of 12. So what the numbers you see here under the bracket PT, it's the minimum you get from each bracket, not the maximum. The maximum is you add 1,000 to that. All right. And since we're doing about 1.12 now, this is the numbers. Any questions so far? Gonna leave you some time if there are any questions, and if not, we can move on. We can always go back and revisit what we explained. All right. So, all right, good. So now, what defines if you're gonna get closer to the maximum or closer to the minimum? HTLoga, hello. Rank 14 at least with my first character. We'll see with the second. So, let me finish up and I will answer your question in more detail, HTLoga. So, what defines, guys, if you're gonna get closer to the highest or closer to the lowest, right? And that's when, I don't know if you heard the term of bracket leaders. Have you heard of the term of bracket leaders before? The term has two meanings. A, the person who directs everyone and helps everyone rank by giving them slots, and you get bracket 1 this week, you get bracket 2. You don't need bracket 2 this week, you need bracket 3. So other one who is more important to get bracket 2. He's the person who distributes the PvPers into different brackets. That's one. The second expression of bracket leading, of what is a bracket lead. Exactly. But there's another expression. A bracket leader is a person who has the highest honor within their bracket. All right. So let's go with the example of of 1,000, I'm going to keep with that example to not confuse you. So in the example of 1,000 active PvPers on your faction, right, where you have standing 1 and 2 bracket 1, 3 to 7 bracket 2, and 8 to 17 bracket 3, right? We've established that. Can you guys name me who the bracket leaders are in terms of the standings? Someone who is following here rather than already knows the system, please. Just to see how much you can, reach out to yourselves. I like making things interactive. That's why I'm better at streaming than making YouTube videos. I'm not sure if I was clear. So, who are the bracket leaders within their own bracket of 1, 2, and 3 if bracket 1 is 1, 2? Exactly, Pete. Exactly. Yes. So standing 1 in our example will be the bracket leader of bracket 1. That never changes. That's one of the most constant ones. If a bracket 1 exists, if you have an underpopulation, there's a chance of a bracket 1 not existing, but that's not what we're dealing with now. So in our example, bracket 1, standing 1, of course, is first. Bracket 2, the standing 3 will be the bracket leader. And in standing 3, in bracket 3, the standing 8 will be the bracket leader of bracket 3. That is correct. Now, from there, based on the honor your bracket leaders have, which your bracket leaders will get the maximum of RP. They are the ones who kind of set the stone in the bracket. Right? They are the ones who are setting the stone in the bracket. Okay? Based on them will always get the max of the bracket. Then people, based on the distance, how far you are from honor. You might be standing 4 and he's standing 3, but you might have 50,000, just as an example, 50,000 honor gap. You see? Or 1,000, or 5,000, 10,000. So based on your distance from your bracket leader within your own bracket, you will get either closer to the maximum of RP of your bracket or closer to the bottom, right? Depending on your distance. Now, this formula becomes really complicated as to how it works. I'm not going to go into it because that depends on the bracket leader's own distance. Yeah, so basically, if you are standing 8, you are, in our example, right, bracket 3. If you want to get into bracket 2, you need to have more honor than the person with already having standing 7. You see? But then you will be pushing the brackets. We're going to get into how the system works in unison, right? So first, let's understand the system. So the system works by... Yes, but that's why there is order. It's going to be chaos, and that's why I'm trying to explain. I'm going to explain that soon, Neurosystem. We haven't touched that yet. So, bracket 1, standing 1 in our example, bracket 2, standing 3, 8. So basically, the distance between, in the case of example, the standing 2, how much distance do they have? They will get more or less honor. When I say more for them. So the closer they are, they can only get maximum 13,000. That's the one thing that people sometimes don't understand. It's not the honor that gives you the rank. It's the ranking points. And you cannot get more than 13,000. So it doesn't matter if you make 10 million honor or 1 billion honor or 100,000 honor. If you are standing 1 and there is a bracket 1 slot, you're going to get a full 13,000. So the same with bracket 2. The closer you are to your bracket leader, within bracket 2, you're going to get closer to the maximum honor. Same with bracket 3. Closer you are to a standing 8. Even if you are standing 17, it doesn't matter. It's about your honor. How close are you? And this, when I did refer to it during our conversation with LMGD and Musclebra, what did I say? I mentioned bracket stacking. What do people do in order to make everyone's ranking efficient? We stack. We set a stone. We set a number every week. It won't be the same necessarily every week. Every week, based on the overall PvP performance, the experienced bracket leaders will say, okay, those people who are going bracket 1 that are already predefined, most of the times, for that week, those people will stack at 1 million. That means everyone who is in bracket 1, in our example, the 2 people will go 1 million. Right? Those in bracket 2 might say, they're gonna go 900,000. So everyone will be given, right, the same amount of RP. You see? The same amount of RP. Okay? That's why you stack it. And that's why you try to be as precise as possible. I can tell you how to. Question, what if all 1,000 people make exactly the same one? The system has an algorithm in itself, which is unknown to us, that will classify people, give them all a standing. And based on that standing, you'll get the maximum of your RP. But you wouldn't know who's going to get a bracket 1 or a bracket 10. You see? The system will randomly give out standings. Well, I haven't figured out the system yet in that regard. The system will randomly give you standings, right? And based on that, people will get their, Many times we'll stack everyone at the same honor, and I will be standing 2 or standing 1 or standing 10. As long as I'm in bracket 1, doesn't matter. So, 900,000, bracket 2, we said everyone's gonna stack as close to it. So everyone will be their own bracket leaders and everyone will get as much RP as possible. Same with bracket 3. Yes, that is, the more active PvPers you have per day, the brackets either expand, and if you have less, they shrink per week. Usually you have a stability. They don't really shrink, they don't really expand. There is a fluctuation. Like sometimes if there is a AV weekend, it's usually a bit higher. With Warzone Gauge weekend, it's also good. You see what I'm saying? Depending on the weekend, if we're talking BGs, depending if there were Christmas, there are a bit more people playing, a bit less, but it's about the same. Alright, let's move on. So now you understand how the system works. And usually people, when they are ranking, they control up to 3 brackets. Because those 3 brackets are very rewarding and it's easier to control. Say in our example, that will be 17 people. You have to manage 17 people in the case of 1,000. Of course, it's not going to be 1,000, but it's easier to manage the top 3 brackets and put the 4th bracket into manage. You're going to have so many people to manage. It's going to be very hard. So most people focus to manage bracket 2 brackets or 3 brackets, not more. So now we've covered the bracket stacking, why it is like that. And now we can move on to how do you actually get your rank. Right? Selling brackets, yes and no. So maybe the bracket leader, if it's a corrupt, usually that's not the case at Chazu because they can be deposed unless everyone is in it. Very unlikely. So with the brackets, basically what you can do in a very extreme scenario, don't say that HD Loga, don't say that the R word. And if you have any questions, just stop me and I will answer. So you can sell brackets, so you pay and say, oh yeah, put me in a bracket 1. But then the question is, people will say, why is he getting bracket 1? He doesn't have the rank, he doesn't have this. Why is he getting bracket 1? And people will start not listening to you. It's really hard to sell brackets. Unless your whole team dominates brackets. So it will be very hard to sell brackets. We can talk a bit about it later, Chazu. But now let's explain how ranking actually works. I'm gonna try and find the relative table here, so I can show you with numbers what are we talking about here. Here we are. So depending on your standing will determine what bracket you're in, and based on which bracket you're in and your distance to your bracket leader, you will get certain amounts of ranking points. Right? That's a very important thing. So even if you are in bracket, say 4, and you have 200,000 honor, and you are the bracket leader of standing 4 is 100,000 honor further up, and you're not gonna get the maximum honor. You're not gonna get the 10,000. You're gonna get 9.5, 9.6, 9.7, 9.3, depending on other variables I'm not gonna get into. That it's not something you should care about. It's really important. When you're in a bracket, you're between rank, you have the option of getting 1,000 more or less. You have a range of 1,000 points. Yeah, how much honor you have at the end of the week will dictate your standing based on the performance of the rest of the hordes. Based on your standing, you will get into a bracket. Based on your distance of your bracket leader, unless you are the bracket leader yourself, you're gonna get the range of RP that's within that bracket, which we showed earlier. So let me go back at it again. So in bracket 1, you have between 12 and 13,000. In bracket 2, between 11 and 12,000. You see how it goes. This is the minimum you see. And then to plus 1,000, just to see the range you can acquire depending on the bracket you are in. Well, that's what I'm about to get in, Payday. That's what I'm about to get in. So, ranking points. So how does it work? As you can see here, 0, no rank at all players start here, as you can see here, right? And then you have rank 1. To get rank 1, you only require 15 honorable kills. Right? In order to get rank 1, you require only 15 honorable kills. Nothing matters. Basically, here you are saying that you were PvP active that week. And you don't lose it. Once you get a rank 1, you don't lose it. Right? I will explain how it works, and we can go into examples, Payday, yes. Then to get standing 2, rank 2, you require 2,000 RP, which if we saw here, I'm actually gonna open this window twice. So I'm gonna have them next to each other. People can see them better. All right. Let me show you. So basically, this is the ranking points, and you can see that in order to get rank 2, it needs 2,000 ranking points. That means you have to be standing bracket. In this it says 4, but it's 10. That's what we call it. That means you have to be, if you add all this up, 10, 21, 30, 38, 45, 51, 55, 57, 58. So if you're about almost 60%, if you are top 60%, which is a lot, you see what I'm saying, right? top 60% of the active PvPers in order to get rank 2. It's so easy. And there is no diminishing return. There is no honor decay. Sorry, I said DR. There is no honor decay because you have 0 honor. So every week what happens? You lose 20% of your total RP. Every week, you lose 20%. So let's say we've achieved this rank, right? You see 2000. And we got Grant or Corporal if you're Alliance. If we got this rank, right? We got it. Okay, so what's next? That means next week, the system, the moment it starts, the next week, it's going to calculate 20% less, which is 400. So the system will do 2000 minus 400, which is 1.6. And it will decay you. Now, that means if you are completely inactive. If you are active, 1.6 plus your next week's performance, let's say it's again 2k. That will mean to a total of 3.6k RP. 3.6k RP gets us very close to Sergeant. And hello, Stacey, how are you doing? Right. Now we can give this example with bigger numbers. I just want to give you a sense of how it works. Yeah, I'm just explaining the honor system for people who are interested. Stacey, I hope you're well. So this is an example of how it works. And again, we are 3.6%, 3.6k. Next week, 20% minus, which is, oh my god, my math. Now it's 600 and then it's 3.6. RP means ranking points. So in order to get your ranks, you need to have a total of these amounts you see here. You see this column, the RP requirement column here, Chazu? So in order to reach each rank, you need a total of 25,000 for rank 7. 30,000, ranking points. Which you get what we explained earlier. I can go back to that, Chazu, but let me move forward and then I can explain to you again what RP is. Or you can watch the VOD. That's why I post the music. So, let's say, let me give you an example of someone who's a hardcore player and goes for bracket 1. Right? Because someone mentioned about skipping ranks. You're bracket 1. You get 13,000. That means if you get the 13,000 maximum RP you can get in game, and if you're rank 0, you're gonna go here. You're gonna go to rank 4, which to get rank 4 you only need 10,000, but you're gonna have 13,000. And since the range of these ranks is 5,000 each, that means 13,000 will take you rank 4 60%. Right? You follow me on this one? If you are rank 0, there is no decay at rank 0. You get 13,000 points. So you get first week, let's say, of phase 2. You get standing 1 or bracket 1 and cap it. You get 13,000 ranking points. 13,000 ranking points will take you from rank 0 to 4, rank 4, you see that? And plus 60%, because 3,000 out of 5,000, which is each rank, it's 60%. So you're gonna be rank 4, 60%. Now what happens next week? Next week, you get again a bracket 1. I'm just giving you the theoretical fastest way to do it. And you can see there's everything in between. So the fastest way is, what you're gonna do next? You have 13,000 RP now, total. And because of that, you are rank 4, 60%. That means next week, you're going to, I'm gonna take the calculator to make sure I'm doing the right math. So next week, you're gonna start with 13,000. I'm gonna times it 0.8. So this will be your number that you're starting next week. So if you are completely inactive, you're gonna drop down almost 60% in your rank 4. But in our case, from 10.4k, that minus the 20% from the 13,000, you add 13,000 again. and you go to 23,400, which this will take you, as you can see here. Here, you will be a rank 6 with a 68%. I just know the numbers because, yeah, 3,400, that means 6,400. If you do 3,400 or 5,000 is 68, right? So you're gonna be in here 68%. I haven't done it yet in Zelda. We can do it after. Okay, with me so far? So every time you wanna add your rank to see how you're gonna perform based on your bracket, you have to do times 0.8, because you lose 20% every time. Every time you lose 20%. Unless you're 0. I mean, 20% of 0 is 0. So, again, I did another 20%. Then I'm going to do another plus 13,000 in case I keep getting rank 1. I can do the calculator on the window. Oh my god. You're giving me many tasks here. I've never done such a visual representation. So yeah, we said 13,000, right, would be your first one. You are the rank 0, you get 13,000, you are 13,000, 60% rank 4. Then times, this is the most important calculator. Write it down. Your current RP, if you want to see your next week, your current RP, which is in our example 13,000, times 0.8, which is 10.4, okay, plus your projected RP, okay? So in our case, we're going hardcore, going standing 1 is 13,000. I think I put too many. Yeah. And then we go have the new number. Now, let's say I see 23,400 RP. That's my RP currently, right? That's my RP. And I want to see how much RP do I need to go to rank 8. Rank 8 is 30,000. How do I do it? I minus this simply 30,000. 1, 2, 3. And this is the answer. So basically, if I want to reach from where I am, where I was, at 68% in rank 6, to go to rank 8, I need 6,600 RP. Now, you come to the table and find it here. So, in order to get 606.6k RP, you need to be in this bracket. You see it? No, I already did it, Achazu. I already did it. This is me calculating the amount of RP that I need. I made the calculation for the bracket already. So, in order to go right to the next step, you need 606.6 KRP, right? Which is this one. So you're gonna have to make the math. Oh, okay, I need to be this much standing, and because it's 6.6k, I need to be as close as possible to my bracket leader to get the better half rather than the worse half. You see? So let's say at the moment we reached 30,000. Let's see. So we reached 30,000 RP because we did a great calculation. 1, 2, 3, yeah. We are 30,000. Right? And what we're gonna do? We're gonna do times 0.8. This is the RP. That's gonna happen with the decay. And with 24,000, we are at rank 8 now, and we want to go rank 9. But this is our RP. Although we're rank 8, the system would calculate it to be 24,000 by the end of the week. You're gonna be rank 8 0% at the moment. But this is the number you have to rely on, the honor decay. So in order to get, according to this, if we want to get rank 9, that means 35,000 RP. So minus, that's how I do it, 35,000, 1, 2, 3. So now, all of a sudden, look at this, guys. Before we needed a bracket 8, right? Now, all of a sudden, we need a much higher bracket. You see how it works? And then it's going to keep going like that. Let's say you are now, because many people get stuck around champion. Champion, I think it's 40,000. No, 35, 40,000, yes. So you're a champion now. 1, 2, 3, 40,000. You have 0% in rank 10 times 0.8. Then you want to see how much for rank 11, which is 45,000. So minus 45,000. In this example, in order to get from 0% rank 10, get 0% rank 11, you need the absolute standing. And hello, simple. But if you guys want to give me an example and I can go through it, I would really like it. Just give me examples and I can keep showing you. Because I can give you many ways of doing this. But, well, 6, 7, it would be rather easy. I think most people stop at around rank 8. Beyond rank 8, it starts the steeping very slow. So many people don't realize how much difficult it gets. To give you an example, at 50,000 RP, which is rank 13, 0%. Yes, that's the maximum you can get per week, Copper. You cannot get more than 30. Doesn't matter if you get gazillions. So, listen to this. At rank 13, 0%, if you get, before we just showed that, from rank 0 to, if you get 13,000, standing 0, to get 13,000, you get 4 ranks plus 60%. At rank 13, 0%, if you do the math, plus 13,000, your progression is 20%. 20%. Can you imagine that? Your progression from 0, if you get 13,000, it's 4 ranks plus 60%. You see the 20%. Now, let's keep doing this. Now, 55,000 minus the 20% plus the maximum you can get gets you 20%. Let's do it again. Times 0.8 plus 13,000. 58.6. So from 20%, right? From 20%, you got only an increase of 1.6. So you got math. So you got 1.6. You got less than 20%. Oh my god. You got 16%. No, I did math wrong. 57. Yeah, 57%. 57% is 40. Yeah, never mind. Okay, so I did math wrong. Yeah, 57% means 40%. Yeah, it's 2,000. 40%, and now you have 32% increase. So initially your increase was 40%, and now you added 32%. Let's keep going. Look at this. Times 4.8 plus 13,000. Huh? Look how close you are. Now we're talking about 3 weeks of straight up ranking, bracket 1 every time. And that's what I said during the interview, during the chat with Muscle and LMGD. In order to do rank 14 under 4 weeks, to do it in 3 weeks, you need to be over 8% in rank 13. Otherwise, you're going to need 4 weeks. That is correct, Komalol. That is correct. If you want to maintain your rank, you need to basically cover the spread, with a 20% decay. If your decay is 8,000, you need a minimum of 8,000 RP to just neutralize it. And then whatever you get on top of that, it just goes. So you see how much it slows down, right, guys? So if you want to give me a few examples that we can go through here so I can show you how it works. So what is important is you need this table to the left. You need the table to the right to see how much each bracket gives. This is the minimum again, not the maximum. If you want to see the maximum, it's just to plus 1,000. So the maximum of the highest rank is 13,000, 12, 11. You see what I'm saying, right? Just to plus 1,000 to each one, and you can see your the maximum you can get. But that's basically the minimum of each bracket. So these are the 3 things you need in order to know how you rank. So give me a few examples so we can go through them, because I can't think of all the examples. Yeah. So basically you need to break even. So you need a high bracket 2, sorry, a low bracket 2 to break even. You do? Any questions, guys? That not have the opportunity, because Zelen wants us to watch some videos and I want to watch them with you. I just went to show you. Let me not get. I hope this helps. And as I said, any questions, if you want to give me some examples, I'm all for it. So I can give you an exercise myself, right? And see how you're going to do. I'm going to give you an easy one and then I'm going to give you a harder one. So you are rank 9 now. 0%. You are rank 9, 0%. How much, which bracket do you have to be in order to get rank 10? For those who don't know, do it and we can do it together. I cannot talk how large the brackets are in here and how long. I'm not saying how large the brackets would be. We gave an example just to explain how the system works, but it's percentage. I've never done that in here. At which part of this did you hear me say how large the brackets would be? No offense, but I did not mention it at all. I said I gave an example of a situation of a simple number so people can follow the numbers. Nothing, I never said, never given, we have no idea about that. We don't know. We don't know, Ingia. We don't know, as you pointed out. I can only tell you that it's 0.2%. So every 1,000 active PvPers on your own faction, it's 2 brackets for bracket 1, 5 for bracket 2, 10, 20, 40, 60, and they add up. So if you want to see, yeah. So you guys want to do the math quickly just to see how it works? Oh, damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna find it, I guess. That doesn't depend on the size necessarily. Sure, having more spots is better in gear, but if you have more spots and the people who get those spots are very highly competitive, it will just drive the brackets high. You see? So higher brackets doesn't necessarily makes it easier. It definitely though makes it easier if you have a high population for the lower ranks, because you see these ranks especially, you see those? They are very good, efficient RP. 4, 5, 6, 7. They are very giving you very good RP for the amount of effort put down, and they are very big ones, like a total of 2, 6, 12, 19, almost 20% of it. So you make the calculation. You can check it the vote Zelen as well. I will make it turn it into a highlight. So let's do it. Rank 9 Let's do. Komalol did the math. Then let's see if Komalol is correct. So rank 9 is 35,000 RP, right? Let's do it. 35,000 RP at 0%, right? Times 0.8. And we said to get to rank 10, correct, Komalol? So minus 40,000. You see? Correct. 12,000. That's a high bracket 2. That's what we call it. And I'm Frothy. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. That's a high bracket 2. Right? So it's very hard to skip ranks after a point. And the chance of you getting... now, there's a benefit here, guys. Let's say you don't get, the rank within a week. It's going to help you get the next rank. Yeah, that is very true, Achas. That's very true. To get, it's very important. It's very hard. Yes, so depending on the rank you're in, depending on the bracket you're in, you get a range of RP, and depends on your distance to your bracket leader, Copper. You kind of watch the vote and ask me some question. I don't want to, I'm trying to move forward here. So, and that's why, guys, once you get the formula down, which is a very simple one, you can calculate how much effort you can put. With add-ons like Honor Spy, they will tell you your standing, and then you can see based on the active population which standing and where you're aiming to go. So if you want to be bracket 3, you're going to make the calculation. Oh, this guy, standing 8, is my bracket 3 leader. Let's try and get to as close to standing 8 as possible. Regardless who it is at that point, can be player X, and the next day standing 8 will be player Y. It's about the standing. Where do you aim? You see? And another good advice I can give you is always talk to your bracket leaders. Ask them, do you know how much the pool will be? And the bracket leader will say, we're estimating between this and this. And based on that, you can do a minimum, a best case scenario, and a worst case scenario calculation. Right? So, if there are no other questions, we can wrap this up so I can put it into a highlight, and you can, guys, check it later. Also, I muted the music so there would be no mutes. Twitch won't muting the channel. And you can also check the vote. So if you are the standing 1, you get 13,000 copper. And the closer you are to your bracket leader, you will get the maximum of the bracket your bracket leader is in. So if you are in bracket 1, the closer you are to standing 1. If you are in bracket 2, the closer you are to the highest person within your rank bracket, you will get that. Right? As I said, watch the vote. It's don't want to repeat everything we already said because I've been saying it already for 30 minutes. But any questions, Copper, get back to me after you watch it, okay? Any other questions on what we've discussed already? So, the system is dynamic, as you can see, based on the spots, but the competitiveness is subjective. Okay? Now, something else maybe I didn't clarify. The performance of bracket 1 does not really affect the performance of bracket 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So because someone decided to make 1 million honor, it doesn't necessarily, it won't directly, it is correlated, but for now, just think that if someone does a bunch of millions, it doesn't mean that in bracket 8 that will be affected, because you focus on your bracket leader, okay? Rather than what someone did in bracket 1 or 2. Ideally, you want the ranks rather close, but that's different reasons, and there are some more complicated formulas. What we're gonna stick is, if someone did 1 million here, 900,000 here, 800,000 here, it's okay for you to do 500,000 here, for example. Yeah, depending on the competition, right? If you are very high competitive, you might want to wait for them to finish ranking before you take your turn, because it's gonna be too hard. Thank you so much again for more cheers, Pedro. It really means a lot. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Any questions to me in private message or on Twitch, I'm taking them. The vote will be up any moment now, so you can go back and watch it and hit me up with questions.